Why is it not possible for you to sit down with Scott Morrison and for Daniel Andrews to sit down with the Prime Minister, for the four of you to get around a table and say, let's sort this out? It is, after all, our money that you're fighting about.
Love to do it.
Well, why not?
Well, they are never available to have a discussion around issues of substance. That is, you can have a chat with them about these things, but it's never in decision-making mode. You know, we'll take that on advisement. We'll think about it. You'll hear about it in the budget. Let me tell you what I think is going to happen when Scott Morrison hands down his budget, Neil. I anticipate that they'll yet again play infrastructure games with the state of Victoria. They'll pick their preferred piece of infrastructure. They'll use that simply as an excuse to have a standoff with the state and not deliver regional rail revival that their own members of parliament, for goodness sake, have been out there banging on about the need for.
So isn't it reasonable that they have a say in how the money's spent?
It's reasonable that they are satisfied that these things meet appropriate rigour and can be built. But what we're talking about here is money that is due to the state of Victoria. $1.5 billion due to us because of asset recycling. They gave the money to New South Wales without any real requirement whatsoever. Here it is, no rigour, no assessment, just here's a bucket of money.
And you accept the regional rail thing can't go ahead. I mean, you've got it there.
It won't go ahead.
You've been the bells and whistles thing, but it's not going to happen unless you get money out of it.
It won't go ahead now. Look, all we can do is try...
Thanks very much for wasting our time on that.
We will try. We said at the time we unveiled this, we've spent a fair bit of time looking at what the federal government want, where they want money invested, and the first sort of responses we get from them are negative. For goodness sake, the member for Gippsland, the federal infrastructure minister, started complaining about the idea we're going to put $435 million worth of rail link into his own electorate.
I cannot believe that any Prime Minister, Labor or Liberal, even Paul Keating, I can't believe any Prime Minister would deliberately set out to undermine one of the major states, because if he succeeds and if Victoria's economy goes backwards, it hurts him as well. Quite apart from saying it's almost treason to do it.
I think they're just putting the money where they think their political opportunities are.
Yeah, but you said they are trying deliberately to undermine Victoria.
Oh, I think that's exactly what they're doing. They are shortchanging Victorians. They're trying to constrain the economic growth that's going on in this state. And I ask you, what other alternative possibility could be going on here? Are they saying that this state can't deliver infrastructure? We are spending twice as much on infrastructure as a long-run average. We are growing jobs, we're growing an economy, and we could do so much more if the federal government were part of it.
Yeah, I just can't believe that you would really think they're doing it deliberately.
Well, I ask you, what else could they be doing here?
Well, they'll say they want a greater say. They'll say that, you wasted money on the East. Imagine if we had that East-West money, what you'd be able to do. History, $1.2 billion worth of history.
Well, that's also very arguable because it's only a gross figure. It's not a net figure.
So what do you reckon it is?
Well, we're selling off a lot of land, Neil, that we acquired.
Well,
some 300 million.
All right, so what's the bottom line? How much have we blown on East-West Link?
Well, we would expect that somewhere in the vicinity of $500 million plus would have been picked up as a consequence of money that already went out the door the day we came into government.
So that means it's cost $700 million on your estimate?
Well, the money that was already in the pockets of the people who had signed contracts, they weren't giving that back now.
What has cancelling East-West Link cost the state of Victoria?
Well, I told you, as best as we can gather, until we've concluded the land transfers. I mean, if you're using a number like 1.2 billion, you're counting public servants' time producing business cases.
The figure?
Well, as I said, until we've concluded the process of selling off that land, we won't have a firm number. But I can tell you the number that went out the door, that was it. There was no additional transfer of funds between the state and the developers.
Would you give us a figure before the next election on what it cost us?
Well, you've got the number which everybody's banding around, which is 1.2 billion.
But you're saying that's wrong.
Which is nonsense.
Well, what is the figure? That's nonsense. What's the figure?
Well, take off the land.
What's that?
About 300 million.
All right, we're down to 900 million.
Take off the public service time.
How much is that?
Oh, well, Neil...
well, you're saying it's wrong, and I'm saying, well, what's right?
Well, I'm saying, and we've been consistently saying, we paid not 1 cent over and above the money that was in the pockets of the developers after the contracts had been signed and before we'd come to government.
And how much was that?
Well, it could have been in excess of $500 million.
All right, in excess of $500 million wasted not building East-West for a contract that wasn't worth the paper it's written on.
Well, just remember this,
Good
Neil.
contract.
Just remember this. Half of those, 45 cents in the dollar was a return, and this was a project that was going to cost Victorians not the amount of money that the government of the day said, but $10.7 billion.